year, I am actually a year late on a course that I signed up for through a website that I found. I don't remember how I found it anymore, but it's dailyown.com. And there was a course called A Year of Writing to Uncover Your Authentic Self. And basically, I would get an email every week with new prompts, and that went on for a year. And I started a few, stopped a few, and I think the truth probably is that it got too deep too quickly and I just ignored it. And there was a lot of other things going on too, but anyway, so this year I really want to take it seriously. I fantasize often about sharing more about myself. I don't really know why, because I'm really introverted. I don't really like to socialize. I don't really have a lot of friends anymore, which I'm completely fine with right now with where I am in my life. But I think there's a lot of things going on that could help someone else and also me just process. I'm starting to realize as I get closer to 40 that I am dealing with a lot of mental health type of setbacks and things that I haven't been able to put a name on before. So I'm really just trying to focus on that first, focus on me first, getting my mental space closer to some sort of peace, or at least just start processing, start understanding. So I thought this would be a nice way to start, just writing and sharing, and maybe I can create a new set of friends, a new healthy community that way. So this first week, there's a list of there's probably at least 8 bullets here that ask you questions in different ways. A lot of it is about this week's theme is basically just about obstacles. What's standing in your way? Are there fears that you're posing as obstacles to hold you back? And one of the questions that I was able to answer was, what is the longest running obstacle in your life? And when I was journaling about this prompt, I came up with, this is my super basic composition book that I'm using for writing some of these things out. I wrote, the longest running obstacle of my life is not truly finding an accurate way to connect with my authentic self. And that's like the snippet of it. And I was like, damn, that's big, right? What does that even mean? But I went on a little bit more after that, and I wrote that the biggest obstacle I have faced in my past is chronic people pleasing. I have made noticeable and comfortable progress with this in just the last year. I have become more direct in relationships and conversations and stopped doing things that seem to take something from me I'd never get back. I have begun to look more at myself and try to understand more about the inner process that I had not focused on before. And I wrote other things too that went along with some of the other questions in the prompts, but I want to continue to explore that. Like, I've definitely been seeing some tips from other accounts about certain things that could have happened in childhood or traumas or things that I just processed a certain way. Like, I've definitely dealt with an adult in my life that was really important to me growing up, that I relied on a lot, and they would do a lot of silent treatments with me, and like if they would be upset about something that I would do. So I found myself trying really hard not to upset them, because I didn't want them not to talk to me, because when they did talk to me, they were the person that I could talk to about things I couldn't talk to my parents about. So when you have someone in that position that, especially a teenager, can really lean on in all of the things that they're going through emotionally, spiritually, and then you have that person shut you down until you do things the way that they want, it's that's actually abusive. I'm learning now, and those are big words, and that's not the type of definition I would have put on it before. I just actually didn't have a word for it before. It just was what it was. But I did tell that person when I had children, because they're still around, that I would like them to not do that to them because of how it made me feel. But I think part of that treatment, among other things in life, caused me to just want to do whatever it would take for people to not be upset with me, for other people to feel comfortable, and so that the relationship could continue smoothly. Like, I didn't want to have to fix anything. So again, like a couple of things, and I hope eventually I'll touch on everything that's going on in my head right now. Like, this is the beginning. But, you know, over the past couple of years, I've stopped doing that, I think, for sure. Like, even that person in particular, I've completely like disconnected with, for the most part. I still speak to them, I still see them. I've never even had a conversation with them about how I view things now. I don't know if it'll ever be worth it, really. I think it's just for me to know and for me to avoid in the future. And even with that particular person, I speak to them in a way now where I really don't care what they think. And, you know, I don't do it to hurt them, but I do it because I'm now comfortable enough to do that as an adult, where if they do something that I don't agree with, I'm completely cool saying it. And basically, it's a more honest relationship for me, from my perspective. I'm no longer obviously worried about doing something that they don't like, because the relationship just isn't like that anymore. I'm older now and I don't rely on them anywhere near as much. But I'm able to speak up, not only with them, but I've been able to do that more with others too, because I was always about just trying to be cool for everyone, because I didn't want to have to deal with getting into an argument or getting into a disagreement. Like, those feelings are yucky, and nobody really wants to deal with confrontation and someone being upset, even if it has nothing to do with them. Like, I just don't like being around people that are upset. And I don't like being upset. And so I've been able to become more straightforward in what I don't like, what doesn't work for me, what makes me uncomfortable. And I think for people, it's been kind of like, who is this person, you know? But no one has faded away. I think people are just noticing it, and they may have been jarred a little bit, I guess. But I don't have any guilt behind it. I don't have any guilt behind how I really feel about something. And you know, I was always brought up to really not say anything, not really question anything. And there's definitely things that I just don't need to know. And some things I just don't care about. Some things I wonder and I don't ask. Like, I'm not a prior. And sometimes that probably was not the right thing to do. I probably should ask more questions, but I don't even know where I was going with that now. But so So yeah, I don't want to go on too long about this, but I'm trying to figure out my flow in the videos and everything like that. But yeah, so I think overall my biggest obstacle was not really even knowing who I was, because so much of my life has been about just trying to make other people happy and comfortable, and kind of be doing things that it seemed like they expected me to do. So there's a lot of undoing that, and it's gotten kind of uncomfortable for me for the last couple of years, because I'm realizing that I'm not always doing things that I want to do. So I'm unlearning, learning for sure, unlearning at the same time, paying more attention, becoming more conscious about why I'm doing things certain ways, kind of figuring out what's behind that. And I've even tried to study a little bit about personality traits, the INFJ stuff. I'm not sure what my number is, but I think I'm something moderator. I think I'll circle back on that in another video. But I don't know, just kind of slowly taking in information to like help me get closer to understanding me outside of all of my responsibilities and my adulting. What is the child in me doing? What is the child in me trying to say in those moments? And reconnecting with that inner child, because I think the inner child is more prominent than anything else. Biologically we're just growing and getting older. We absolutely mature and we change in that way. But I think a lot of our subconscious programming from when we were children is really what's going on here in a lot of ways. So how can I connect with that child as an adult with the lessons that I know now, and create a life that is peaceful and honest with exactly who and where I am right now? So I wonder if this touched anybody, or if this made any sense to anyone. I would love to hear anything that you might have to say. And please be cool, please be positive. I am super sensitive, and this is vulnerable of me to do. So I hope you can respect that in any of the comments that you want to bring to the table. And I hope we can connect. I hope we can connect, and I hope we can create connections with others, especially in the Black community, because the truth is, we are not talking about this enough. And definitely in my family, my upbringing, I've gotten the impression that mental health means you're crazy, kind of like cuckoo house. Like, that's just not the type of discussions that are normal. It's kind of foreign. So I do feel kind of sort of alone in that front. I think the older generations of my family, really the only person I kind of talk to about it sometimes, is starting to get it. Of course, my children, they're like all like on it and understand that is important. But I don't know that. So especially in our community, it's really important, and for any community, any person, to understand that they could be dealing with other things with a name. And I think once you have a name for something, you can kind of deal with it a lot better. Kind of like, when people are going through exorcisms on the movies and stuff, they're trying to figure out what the demon's name is, so that they can understand the story and hopefully heal the person, right? So that's kind of where I'm coming from with it. I don't call them demons or anything like that. It's just an example. But I think it's important to pay attention to the traits and start researching, and just understanding. Knowledge is power, right? So yeah, let me know what you think, and I appreciate you sticking with me through my rambling so far, and I'll get better as it goes on. But yeah, I'll talk to you soon. soon. Bye.